Todd Zuckerman from the rock band STYX, and you're listening to my pal Jackie Bertoni on Jackie's Groove. Groove on, motherfuckers.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
This show on the road. Slingshot you out of...
Hey everybody, welcome to Jackie's Groove. It is a Friday the June 23rd, man, and it's a great day. It's a rock and roll week, this whole week ahead of us. And I'm proud and privileged, man, to have on the line a brother that I've seen many years in passing backstage at STYX concerts. The man plays an amazing bass. We're going to get more into that. But the whole thing about today's show is a quick promotion on STYX, their first studio album in 14 years called The Mission. And it's about damn time, man. I mean, the music is kicking. We had to play a small little snip like that of a song called Gone, 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 so we don't get the YouTube police on us. And we highly recommend you go on to STYXworld.com and, of course, any other place that sells music, such as iTunes and Amazon and such, and purchase this amazing recording. So with that said, I want everybody to welcome with open arms and open ears to Jackie's Groove, Mr. Ricky Phillips. Ricky, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Jackie. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, thanks for being had, brother. I got to tell you, this is about time, man. I mean, you know, we know the standards with STYX, you know, Babe and Grand Illusion and I don't want to say Mr. Roboto, but and the like. But it's such a pleasure now to have this new music. I've been oversaturated with it. I've been listening to it like crazy since our mutual friend, your drummer, Todd Zuckerman, and I go back many years, back to 1994 actually. And he's really stoked about this whole situation. So with that said, brother, I mean, how excited is the band? How excited is STYX's listening audience for this amazing new album?
I think we're pumped that people seem to be digging it. You know, it's nice to have something out that's fresh and new and kind of represents the band where it's grown. But we've gone to great pains to make the record sound like a continuation of what's gone on for decades. And right down, you're talking about Todd. Even Todd's drums sound different than the bombastic, large drums that people come and see in concert. And my basses, for example, I don't even play the same bass as I do in the live show. I went back to my arsenal of vintage basses, like from the 50s and 60s, and played some 68, couple 68 tellies I played, a 60, a 62, and a 63 Fender P bass, one of my jazz basses, 65 jazz bass. And it's so much fun to get those passive tones and create these wonderful sounds. And to have something like these songs that Tommy Shaw created and the storyline and change flavors and colors and go along with the emotions as they change and, experiment with that. And writing all my parts for the record, I really, Tommy was pushing me he said, I want to hear the Ricky Phillips that's in that dressing room just ripping. And I said, really? He said, yeah, there's plenty of room for that on this record. And so within sort of keeping within the confines of what I could get away with, staying with the history, there were certain places where, Will, who was producing, would basically just say, "Man, go for it. Give me more." And so, okay, give me the green light and I'll go.
Speaking of Will, my good friend and your old friend Rudy Sarzo sends his love, and he's listening to the show as we speak right now. So give him a shout out to Rudy Sarzo.
Oh man, Rudy's the best. He probably is probably my long-time friend outside of my own bands that I've had in this crazy business, and we met before either one of us. I think we were all sleeping on couches back then.
I just interviewed him last week. Yeah, he's got that new movie coming out right now called The Hired Gun on the 29th of June, and I've been blessed to interview all the players. Yeah, man. So back to STYX for a second, Ricky. You know, when you employed these the old basses on the recording, was there that much of an adjustment live on stage to get that sound back onto live that you put on the onto vinyl, for the lack of a better word?
Yeah, it's definitely a consideration, because there's tone to me has always been something that I have followed guys from the time I was a kid. When I heard that sound, that tone, I get that inexplicable thing, because your sound is really in your hands. You can go buy a zillion amplifiers, try chasing sounds, and that's part of it. But it's also the way you, in STYX, for example, I play both with my fingers and with the pick. Chucky played with picks through all the early recordings, but I play differently. I go for different things, and if you take the edge of the pick and you play with it, or you just slap away per normal, there are different sounds and things. So live, when I'm trying to recreate something I've done in the studio, it might not be with the same bass, because you do have to cut down how much stuff your tech will just drive him crazy with trying to keep everything strung up and everything. So I have a couple basses that I've actually designed that are 5-string basses. I started playing 5 strings in Bad English days so that I could go to low D's and B's and C's, not really to spend much time up on that 5th string, but to just be able to hit those low big notes that the keyboard player was hitting. So with this being played on all 4s, the live show, I have a couple basses that they sound a little bit different, but they complement each other, and I can go most of the places, certainly with 3 or 4 basses that I did, even though they're passive tones, a little bit different, a little warmer. For live application, we have great sound, man, and I'm able to get it out there. It sounds real close.
Yeah, man. You know, and I want to give another say hello to the band, because I got it in. You know, and say hi to George for me. George scares the shit out of me, and I've always loved George. It's everywhere. Walks around the corner. 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes. You know, and it's like,
I know, he's the nicest guy in the world, but he scares the shit out of everybody. So
everybody, and that's why he's been with you guys 20+ years. So, hey, Ricky, you know, to everybody out there, I mean, when you took over the position after Glenn left the band, it was a welcome situation, because 1 minute I was watching Glenn playing, and the next minute I watched this guy named Ricky out, and then I find out that we have a personal friends, together. Our good friend of ours, Frank Marshall and Kathleen Kennedy, the 2 greatest producers, directors in Hollywood, and Frank's brother, Matt Marshall, is one of my personal friends. Matt and I go all the way back to the early 90s together, great bass player. So he's listening also, too. Yeah. So I thought it was kind of a cool correlation how we've come together there.
It's funny because Matty used to play bass when we'd have our family gatherings and stuff. Yeah. Matty would play bass, and I'd play guitar. And then Frank would kind of strum along, and Frank always wanted me to pull him aside and teach him some really hot guitar licks, so he could just kind of casually in the middle all of a sudden take a solo and see his brother's mouths drop. All of those guys are just, their father was Jack Marshall, a famous jazz guitarist, and they're very, very musical family. My sister, Kathleen Kennedy, who everyone knows is a movie producer, she and I started off, in Southern California just trying to go for it, and I was sleeping in a really cockroach-infested hotel, and she came over and told me she was starting to work with Steven Spielberg, and look where she's gone. You know, she's president of Lucasfilm now. So proud.
Brother, look at you. Look at you, brother.
It's a cool.
Give yourself props.
I'm just chasing a dream, man. And
aren't we all?
But I'm so happy to see my friends, achieving their dreams as well. It's a very cool thing to see.
Yeah, man. That's so. I want to put the shout out to Mersh, as we all call Mersh, Matt. That's the whole idea right there. Hey, so Ricky, let's say hi to all the boys. Let's say hi to Lawrence. Let's say hi to JY, Tommy, Chuck. That whole vibe. You know, people love the whole vibe when they see Lawrence, on stage with that 360 keyboard situation. I understand so many people want to get that copied. And that the STYX emblazoned logo there. How does it feel when you walk on stage, when you're sharing the stage with the iconic Chuck Bonazzo? Do you work out the parts there itself? Because I notice sometimes you just lay out all together when Chuck is playing. Is that worked out? I don't know how cool it would be to have 2 basses playing at the same time. But how does that? Man. Okay, perfect. Yeah. That's the word I wanted to hear.
Yeah, it's just respect. I mean, Chuck was the he was the blueprint for what I do in this band before I came along. So I learned everything that he does. What I noticed your good friend Todd Sugarman does and did when I first joined the band was he was able to take Johnny's parts and play them. That still sounded like Todd. I was going, how are you doing this?
Right.
So I had to know, what you have to do is you have to know the stuff inside and out before you know the places where you can trod upon ground that is iconic. It's stuff that people know, and you change that a little bit, and it changes everything. So it took me a while, probably certainly within the first year, I started to figure it out. And there was one night where I kind of threw a riff in against something. I saw JY glance over me. And JY he's the godfather of STYX, and he basically keeps everything is being scrutinized by James Young. He makes sure that this isn't a new STYX. This is a continuation of a band that's been around for decades, and we treat that music with great respect. So I saw him glance over at me while I'm riffing off doing something that I do. And I thought I'd found a moment where I could do that. And I thought, oh man, I'm going to hear about this. So after the toweling off and the show's over and we're back in the dressing room getting ready to jump in the showers, he goes, Ricky, you know that thing that you played in, whatever song it was? And I said, yes. And he said, keep doing that, man. That sounded great. So I realized that once he gave me the green light, that I was on the right track. And now all these years later, after I've done more than 1,500 shows with these guys, there is always a place where you can be yourself and express who you are as a player and not forsake the song, not get in the way of the song and the presentation. And that's something I love about this band. We play all the songs in the original keys. The four of us go face to face and sing in each other's faces for good 15 to 20 minutes before we go out on stage. And it's like, pick your favorite golfer. We'll pick Tiger Woods because everybody knows who he is. And he never went to a tournament and just went straight to the first tee. You get there and you warm up, you work on your craft, and you get ready. You go out on 10. You don't warm up to it. So we do that within this unit, and everybody is consummate pro, but they're also, as you know, certifiably insane. We have a lot of fun.
Of course.
Humor goes a long way in this band.
Hey, Ricky, let me ask you a question. How many live songs off of Mission are you guys going to be introducing to the listening audience live?
A couple. I think we're wise enough to know that people come to see bands. They want to hear the hits. They want to hear the songs that they grew up with. And we need to respect that because people are paying a lot of money for tickets these days. It's crazy. And in my estimation anyway. And what we'll do is we'll probably do a little snippets, like the walk-on music is from that we come out to. A lot of people won't know this, but that is the music from the Mission. And then we'll do a song, and then there'll be little snippets maybe interspersed within the set. But we'll do a couple. Well, and I won't give anything away, but most people probably can figure out already what they are.
Right.
They may have seen or heard. But we're not going to, at the point where if this record were to take off and become an iconic STYX record, I could see, and Tommy and I have talked about doing a run of shows at some point, maybe next year, where we do all of the Mission in its entirety, which would be great because we've done that with the Grand Illusion and Pieces of 8 albums, and doing a theater where you've got a drop screen in the back that tells a story. What a great fun show that would be. But at this point, until or when, and if and when that happens, we don't want to play too much because we do respect why people come to the shows. Hear the music and the favorite song or solo or vocal that they love.
Ricky, I'm looking at one of your major fans out there. I'm looking for her question. She wanted to know, and I'm going to paraphrase here. She said, please, Jackie, when you get Ricky on the interview, would you ask him the high-pitched vocal on Radio Silence? Is that you? Is that your voice, or who is that?
Well, no, it's not. If it's high-pitched, it's going to be either Lawrence Gowan or Tommy Shaw. Those guys can hit dog's ears notes.
Right.
I can't get up to. There are certain songs where I do sing high and I jump in and do some little tricks that I've learned. Being in STYX, I will say I'm about 5 times the singer as I was. I've learned so many little tricks from these guys, vowel sounds and things that you can do to get notes out when you're a little bit rough. Maybe you've had 5 shows in a row and you're going, oh man, here it comes. I hope it's there, you know. But these guys have shown me how to sing different vowel sounds to make notes come out smoothly, and it's been a wonderful experience for me as a vocalist. And they pushed me. Tommy has pushed me from the day I joined the band. He says, "Come on, you got a good voice. Let's
use it."
And
yeah, that was out to Tracy. So there's your answer. So in the middle of that song, that scream is not Ricky. It's most likely Mr.
That'll
Shaw.
Be probably Tommy. I think I know the scream she's talking.
Perfect. Hey, brother, do me a favor. Let the listening audience know right now, because we are worldwide itself. Who is STYX out with right now? Are you guys doing a solo tour, or are you bundling right now?
Actually, we are night 3 of a tour with Don Felder and EiEiO. And we haven't toured with EiEiO in, somebody was saying, 5 or 6 years. So this is a full tour, and we've done a couple gigs with them. So it's great to see those guys again. It seems to be a really good package, even though I never thought of either one of the bands sounding at all alike. They're both Midwest bands. Right. And there's been a longevity to the friendship between these two bands. And what's cool about it for me is I like to play golf and get away from backstage and hotel rooms on days off. And Don Felder's a big golfer, and he and I had some fun on the course. And then, Dave Amato and Bruce and Kevin now is playing golf again. He told me the other day. So we're hooking some stuff up in Denver right now so that when we have a day off, we can get out. And it really keeps you fresh, man. Keeps you, when you get back up on that stage and you've been able to not just get stale for a day off sitting in a hotel room. It keeps the pencil sharpened, man.
Hey, Ricky, let me ask you, in the last minute and 43 seconds we have on here now, I'm going to ask you an unfair question, but I want an honest answer. What's your favorite song on The Mission? What's your favorite song on The Mission?
Oh, man, I think my favorite song, can I say 2?
Of course.
But I would have to say Locomotive and Red Storm.
Locomotive is my favorite. I will tell you that right now.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a cool track, man. That actually came from Will initially. I wasn't there when he and Tommy were tearing it up and creating it, but they sent me a rough demo of it at one point. And as I was kind of compiling and working on, I knew how special this material was as they kept feeding it off to me. So I worked on what I wanted to do. And with Tommy saying, "Hey, look, I want you to let's see what you got. I want Ricky Phillips all over this thing." So I went, okay. And that's a song I was able to keep a lot of space, to keep a lot of big holes, but then at certain moments throw in some, I'm sure it comes from my influences of John Entwistle, Chris Squire, Paul McCartney, all thrown into that, what becomes the melting pot of any artist, I guess, as their influences
Brother, I'm going to jump in here because I don't want to interrupt you. I don't want the audience to miss anything here. In the last 15 seconds, I want to give a shout out, obviously, to Will Ekovich, who we're talking about right now, the great producer. Everybody, Ricky Phillips, STYX, The Mission, out now. Buy the album, kids, and patronize STYXworld.com. Search it down, man, and enjoy the show with Don Felder and EiEiO Speedwagon and my friends, the group called STYX. So with that said, Ricky, thank you, brother. I know you got a crazy busy schedule. Thank you for taking a few minutes out to share your story. We love you, man. God bless. Stay healthy on the road.
I really appreciate it.
We'll see you soon, brother. I promise you. Peace through music.
You got it.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working